Manhunt continues for nearly 2,000 escaped prisoners after Sunday's attack in Sierra Leone. As the truce in Gaza extends for 2 days, Egypt says now is the time to enforce the two-state solution. Plus, 11 people killed in an accident at a platinum mine in South Africa. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. We begin here in West Africa, where police in Sierra Leone continue their manhunt for people involved in what the government has described as a planned and coordinated attack on the capital. Gunmen broke into an armory and several prisons in Freetown on Sunday, enabling the escape of almost 2,000 inmates. Installations outside the capital were also attacked. Well, the authorities are now offering a reward of $2,000 for anyone with information on the perpetrator still at large, as well as $1,000 for any leads on escaped prisoners. A nighttime curfew remains in place throughout the country. Well, 20 people died in Sunday's attacks, and 13 of them, servicemen, are said to have been loyal to the government. Well, in Niger, coup leaders have overturned an 8-year-old law criminalizing migrant smuggling in the country. The legislation allowed authorities to take action against smugglers who transported migrants through Niger's vast desert onto Libya and then Europe. Well, the ruling junta announced the repeal in a statement saying the law did not take into account the interests of Niger and its citizens, also adding that convictions handed down under the 2015 law would be erased. Well, analysts say this move is an indication that the junta in Niger's capital plans to assert its authority over the country's sovereignty, and that's in defiance of international pressure. International NGO Save the Children says more than 136,000 people, including an estimated 74,000 children, are trapped in the historic northern Mali city of Timbuktu. Well, the organization is also warning that the trapped people are running out of essential items like food and medicine as armed groups block their entry into the city. Timbuktu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and has been under siege by Al-Qaeda-linked jihadists since August. The jihadists have banned trucks from neighboring regions against entering the town, causing shortages and also skyrocketing prices of food, fuel, and other necessities. Oh, it's the 5th day of truce in Gaza after it was extended for 48 hours. Qatar says it is focused on further extending the ceasefire deal. But in the meantime, Egypt is saying that now is the best time to enforce the two-state solution in order to end the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Well, this is coming from Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry. He was speaking on the sidelines of the Union for the Mediterranean Summit in Barcelona. That's a 43-member grouping of European, North African and Middle Eastern countries. Mr. Shoukry's statement echoes Arab states and EU agreements at a meeting in Spain that the two-state solution, which emphasizes a state for the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip alongside Israel, is the best policy to end the conflict.
The two-state solution is still the consensus of the international community, but at this stage it is not a matter of a process to manage the conflict and not reach a conclusion, and the establishment of the Palestinian state is not acceptable. The international community has the ability, the mechanism to enforce a two-state solution, to implement a two-state solution. The issues have been negotiated between the two parties over the span of 3 decades, and we cannot rely any longer on the reoccurrence of conflict by virtue of policies that do not support peace but support increasing violence and polarization. We believe it is time to implement the two-state solution. It is time to create the Palestinian state so that we can finally have a conclusion to this conflict. We oppose the displacement, any form of displacement inside the Palestinian territories or any efforts to displace the Palestinian people outside of their homeland. This is an effort, if it is materialized, to liquidate the Palestinian cause and to free the Palestinian lands of their inhabitants, which represents a violation of international humanitarian law, but even a war crime.
We're now in South Africa, where 11 people have been killed in an incident at the platinum mine. According to the mining company, the accident happened on Monday afternoon at Impala Rustenburg in the Northwest Province. Company spokesperson Johan Theron says that the incident involved a winding rope connected to a lift which hoists people up and down the mine shaft. The lift started moving downwards unexpectedly. 86 people were affected, 11 of them dead. The mine rescue operation has concluded and investigations into the incident has commenced. Let's get more details on this story. Joining us now is our Channels TV correspondent, Innocent Samosa. Hello, Innocent. What more can you tell us at this time about the accident at the mine?
Well, greetings to you, Layo, and our viewers around the world. It's good to be in your company. Well, indeed, tragic news coming from Impala Platinum Mine. Well, it's also important, Layo, to remind our viewers that South Africa has some of the world's deepest mines. It is, of course, a leading producer of platinum. There have been long concerns about safety conditions on the country's mines. But of course, it's important to note that the situation have improved since white minority rule ended in 1994, Layo. About 50 deaths were recorded in mines in 2002, down from 74 in the previous year. That just goes to show that, the challenges of safety has been an ongoing issue in the country. But the latest incident took place on Monday in a mine in Rustenburg, about 100 kilometers, 60 miles northwest of Johannesburg. The mine is called Impala Platinum. And of course, we heard from the mine, they said that an investigation was underway into the exact cause of the devastating incident. From now, we know that all mine operations have been suspended. So that's the information we have so far. But I can tell you now that this has been a really devastating news for many in the country, Layo.
Even as we're now awaiting the results of investigation that's ongoing, would there be any form of compensation to, the victims, to the victims of this, especially those injured, and also the families of the casualties, probably from the officials of the mining company or the government?
Yeah, look, Impala Platinum Chief Executive Nico Muller says Impala is offering support to the families and colleagues of those lost in service, and that some of the people who have sustained serious injuries are being treated in hospital. And he also described this incident, Layo, as highly unusual, and he said the lift which malfunctioned was used worldwide and had a reputation of being safe, but he said that this was, of course, unusual. From the statement that the company issued, reading the statement, I get a sense that there's really nothing about compensation so far. I guess because we understand that as it stands, there is that engagement with the Department of Mineral Resources here in South Africa with the company to really try to see if they can calibrate some sort of an agreement between the families and the mine. But we know now that there's that conversation between the mine and the Department of Mineral Resources. And the Minister of Mineral Resources, Gwede Mantashe, will indeed be briefing the media regarding this issue. But from the statement of the organization or the company, there's nothing really that speaks about compensation, Layo.
Oh, Innocent, this indeed is a tragic situation in the country, but how are South Africans responding and reacting to this?
Well, Layo, some have described this as one of the darkest days in South Africa. And of course, condolences have been pouring on social media to the people who have lost their loved ones, and those injured are being, wished speedy recovery. It has been really a somber mood, for a want of a better term, for many people here in South Africa. It's a situation that was really unexpected, given the fact that the issues around safety in our minds have been ventilated for quite some time, and one would have thought that this is an issue of the past. But it's unfortunate that we find ourselves here today. But we will be heading to the northwest of Johannesburg tomorrow, Layo, to really speak to people who reside in that particular area. And perhaps we could maybe get a family member who can, share with us some of the experiences and, just to get first-hand experience with regards to the situation, Layo.
Thank you so much, Innocent, our correspondent in South Africa. We're still in South Africa, where the Air Force has hosted a special visit from Brazil's Embraer Defense and Security to demonstrate the capabilities of the C-390 military transport aircraft. It has the capability to perform air-to-air refueling, humanitarian aid capabilities, flying equipment, search and rescue, and aerial firefighting capabilities. Well, in 2022, the Brazilian Armed Forces extended their support to the South African National Defense Force by providing valuable military assistance. Well, this assistance came in the form of warfare training and logistical support. It is alleged that South Africa will spend about $500 million to purchase the C-390 military transport aircraft.
Transparency. I think what I will have to say, Datemlot, is that we want to be as open as possible. That's why now that we're starting with this project, we have to be open to South Africans and say, hey, look, we had been having this problem. And for us to have a solution, we need to start now thinking out of the box and come up with a solution that will address the challenges that we are facing. And it is in the interest of South Africans that we start now planning, because if you don't start planning now, going into the future, failure to plan is to plan to fail. That is the dictum that we always look at. So we started looking at this as a solution, and we will just go and test. That's why I'm saying we like playing with toys, and if need be, we break them and see if they are durable. If we try to break them and they break, then we say, no, this is not the right toy that we can play with. So yes, indeed, we take note of the observation that you said the minister made in Parliament. Indeed, there are challenges, but I want to be able to try and position or place the minister's assertion. It will be unfair. If she was here, that was going to be fair for us to engage and discuss on what she said in Parliament. So please, bear with me. I'm a soldier. I wouldn't like to try and play into the political space. Otherwise, I will burn my fingers. An issue of pricing. At this moment, pricing will come towards the tail end, because for now we want a capability, and when we have determined the capability, then we will see within the same category who is giving us a better price. And then, but that is done by those people that are qualified to do so, not us as soldiers. We will tell you, I want an aircraft that can carry this tonnage and go these miles, so that I can be able to satisfy the needs of South Africans, to bring peace and stability in the region. The rest, we will work it out. The 500 million, I didn't taken interest in the $500 million. So I'm not going to respond to the $500 million.
Still ahead on the program, the Prince of Wales honors African conservation champions at charity event in London. Please stay with us for more details. Welcome back to the program. Over the weekend, our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, was at the Alkebulan Immigrants Awards, where resilience and positive impact were celebrated in migrants. Well, he brings us this report now that captured the spirit and stories of these inspiring individuals.
The Alkebulan Immigrants Awards celebrate the diversity and resilience of those who have faced unimaginable challenges and against all odds have thrived.
The Alkebulan Immigrants Impact Awards stand as a testament to the power of unity in diversity. The remarkable contributions of immigrants and their invariable contribution in shaping our society.
The Zulu Indian dancers got everyone on their feet, moving to the rhythm. I had the privilege of speaking with some of the award recipients, and their stories are nothing short of inspiration, from entrepreneurs creating job opportunities to activists championing human rights.
Absolutely. It's such an honor to be this award, and especially the first years of this award, and being part of the humanity activities that we've been doing for the last 3 years. We are very young organizations, but we actually impacted almost 100,000 people in South Africa.
It means actually deeper than what I just said, because it's as a Colombian that came some years ago to settle in a new place. It has not been easy as an immigrant, and I know that many people like me faces a lot of challenges in many topics.
It's just an encouragement, like they see. For me, it actually means that the people, like the world, is seeing what you are doing. It's just a word of encouragement for you to go forward and then to continue the journey that you have started like years ago.
Ambassador Andre Nzapayeke emphasized Nigeria's significant role in supporting South Africa in its struggle against apartheid.
I think I mentioned Nigeria as an example because I can tell you that many African countries really contributed heavily to the liberation of the entire Southern Africa. Many Africans for different countries sacrificed resources, money, and a lot of things to help liberate.
And this is what they love about the host nation.
I love everything about South Africa. I love the weather, the music, the food. I've been here for a very long time, so almost all my friends are South Africans. I think even though I'm a Ghanaian, this is home.
What an inspirational, motivational time it has been here. Indeed, this has been a celebration of unity, diversity, and culture. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
Away from South Africa to Kenya now, a court has declared as unconstitutional a 1.5 housing levy that was imposed by the government as part of a finance law in July. A 3-judge bench ruled that the tax lacked a comprehensive legal framework and was irrational. The introduction of the housing levy, among other taxes, fueled protests amid a high cost of living in the country. In the meantime, the government is now asking the court for a stay of the judgment for 45 days as it decides on the next course of action. Well, a trial against Zambia's former First Lady Esther Lungu, the wife of former President Edgar Lungu, has begun in the capital, Lusaka. She has been charged with the theft of 3 vehicles, theft of a title for property in Lusaka, and possession of $400,000 alleged to be proceeds of crime. Well, she's on trial alongside two police officers. A witness told the court that Ms. Lungu forcefully took her car and the title deed of her house, as well as two cars belonging to her daughter. She added that accused police officers coerced them into signing over the documents of the properties to Ms. Lungu. Well, Ms. Lungu and her co-accused have denied any wrongdoing when they were arrested over the alleged offences in September. Well, it's less than a month to the general elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and candidates are ramping up their campaigns. During his rally in Bukavu, opposition candidate and 2018 Nobel Peace Prize laureate Denis Mukwege vowed to work towards a well-structured and modernized military if elected president. Dr. Mukwege is renowned for helping rape victims, and he attended his first election rally since officially announcing his candidacy back in October. He will be running against incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi, whose first term is said to be marred by economic hardship, epidemics, and worsening insecurity in the east. He will also face Martin Fayulu, who came second to Tshisekedi in 2018, and Moise Katumbi, a millionaire businessman and former governor of the Katanga region. Well, the World Food Programme is warning that resources are dwindling in Chad as the country is host to more than 1 million refugees, one of the largest and fastest growing refugee populations in Africa. Well, the recent conflict in neighboring Sudan has driven hundreds of thousands more across the border. The United Nations says the number of Sudanese refugees in Chad has doubled in just the past 6 months, as many refugees have arrived since the crisis broke out in Sudan in April.
The Chadians, they have already shared whatever they could share. They can't share anymore. They even need assistance themselves. So now we need to assist all those 600,000 refugees that came, the returnees from Chad that were living there, but also now we also need to support the Chadian, the host population that are there, that are also suffering like all those Sudanese that have arrived.
Halfway through the 2030 agenda, the UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed says the world body is far from achieving the target of eliminating violence against women and girls, transcending borders and cultures. While speaking in a video message for the official UN commemoration event of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, Mrs. Mohammed said engagement in prevention is critical to accelerate efforts collectively.
Halfway through the 2030 agenda, we are far from achieving the target of eliminating violence against women and girls. It transcends borders and cultures. As we prepare for Summit of the Future, your engagement in prevention is critical to accelerate efforts collectively. Investing in prevention is not just practical, it is transformative. We must act now for a better and safer future for all women and girls and for everyone.
To prevent violence for good, UNFPA works with communities, especially with men and boys, to change harmful gender norms and promote positive masculinities.
The realities of the ubiquitous violence women and girls endure in conflict extends to the home also. Today's report by UNODC and UN Women shows that more than 5 women or girls are killed every hour by someone in their family.
All 3 Africans have been honored by Britain's Prince William for their achievements in conservation and wildlife across the continent. Dr. Akwoge Aboy from Cameroon received the Prince William Award for Conservation in Africa. Fanny Minesi from the Democratic Republic of Congo won the Tusk Award for Conservation in Africa, and Jelu Mpofu walked away with the Tusk Wildlife Ranger Award. Well, the Prince of Wales attended the annual Tusk Conservation Awards in London, where he focused his speech on environmental issues.
It is also a reminder that Africa, its people, and its biodiversity are disproportionately affected by the impacts of a warming planet. Impacts which are, for the most part, not driven by those most affected. There must be no let-up in our collective efforts to stem the terrifying loss of species and habitats we're all bearing witness to. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate the remarkable individuals that are leading those efforts to ensure we all can live on a healthier planet.
And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.